Mike in Brighton, Michigan says, "Hey, Paul." Hey, Mike. I have something that's been in the back of my mind for a while about the IRS. To get straight to the point, why are the mid-range and tweeter wings, that's these right here, so wide? I'm guessing it's for diffraction, but usually in speaker design, that's a bad thing. Hence, slim designs and people like bookshelf designs. It seems to me they're blocking a huge amount of sound from behind them, not only the base towers, but sound staging and imaging. And I would think they would only work in a huge room. Couldn't the towers be just an inch or so wider than the driver configuration for a much better sound stage and open sound? Well, yeah, no. Okay, so let's take this apart. First off, for those of you that don't know, this is a pair, one of the only 58 pair in the world of Infinity IRS loudspeakers, and these are the 5s, the last generation that they made. And if you look, you'll see that these drivers, there's 12 of these are the planar mid-range ribbons, and then these are the tweeters, and I think there's like 32 on each front. And then behind here we have big giant woofers, and in ours we've got 6 new woofers. We re-woofered this because the original woofers weren't that great. But anyway, okay, so his question is, why are these big wings here? Why are these big baffles when, like if you look at the FR30s, they're very thin, and that gives this wide open soundstage. Well, here's the thing. These wings were a necessary compromise made by the designer of this, Arnie Nudell, because this speaker is a dipole. What's that mean? That means 2 poles, right? So sound is coming from the front and sound is coming from the back. And the sound from the back is out of phase with the sound from the front. So if these wings were not here, then depending on the frequency that this goes down to, the sound at a low enough frequency would wrap around and cancel out, and you would have no low frequencies that these speakers are responsible for. And what Arnie wanted to do was take these wings, these planar wings, as low as technically possible. So he took it down to about 100 hertz. Well, 100 hertz is a fairly big waveform, and this wing arrangement, this baffle, is a quarter wavelength of 100 hertz, and that's how he designed these things. Now, what's interesting is because they're a line source, and this is one of the rare examples of a line source, and a line source means floor to ceiling. Notice that? And we've got an 8-foot ceiling here, and you can see that floor to ceiling we have drivers, and they put out this columnar sound field, okay, where normally, like if you take the Aspen speakers, they're putting out a wave like this. In this, you have a column of sound that is going out. And these speakers image, until the Aspens came around and Chris beat these speakers for 30-something years, these speakers made the single best soundstage I have ever heard. And they were only bested just recently, like 2 years ago. And these were made in 1985. So it looks like they should mess up, but they don't. They're actually an amazing loudspeaker. That's why I had them as our reference for, gosh, I don't know how many years. And then behind here, he asked if it doesn't block the woofer. It does and it doesn't. Remember, the woofers only go up to about 80 or 90 hertz, and then there's this crossover between the wings going down to 100 hertz and then the woofers going up, right? And at those frequencies, we're talking big waves that really don't care if this thing is blocking them because the waves are so long. Last thing I will say about this is these are well, they're the only pair in the world like them. They have a custom crossover that we built, and the designer of this speaker, Arnie Nudell, blessed before he passed away. And new woofers. Instead of one big amp, we have 6,000 watt amps, one on each woofer. So it's a highly modified pair, probably the best sounding pair of IRSVs in the world. And I have decided to sell them. So if any of you are interested, you can write me, paul@psaudio.com. By the time you see this video, they may well be gone. I don't know. I'm not going to aggressively reach out. There's some person in this world who would appreciate this loudspeaker, these beautiful rosewood speakers. And it breaks my heart to sell them, but got to move on, right? So yeah, let me know if you're interested. I think we're probably going to ask, I don't know, $70,000, $80,000 for the speakers, which is, for what they are, kind of a bargain. But anyway, okay, that's all she wrote. All right, thanks. Oh, and last thing I will say, one of the reasons that I've been hesitant to sell these, aside from the fact that I love them, is shipping. Oh my gosh. We don't have any of the original crates that they came in, so shipping is a nightmare, and we'd probably have to have somebody show up or hire a company. I don't know. Anyway, all right, talk to you later. Bye.